Hey guys, we're going to do a quick little video over how to pattern a circular pattern deer, or a deer that moves into one area every couple of days and then leaves. So maybe he's on your property for a couple of days and then he's going, half a mile away for the next property. Um, those deer can get really tricky, and they can be extremely aggravating, to be able to get out there and harvest. For instance, I had a deer, I think it was back in 2017 or 18. He ended up being 149-inch 12, beautiful deer. Unfortunately, something had happened to one of his sides of his rack, but still, he ended up being 149-inch. He was either 5.5, 6.5-inch deer, but he was a deer that I just could not pattern. We had plenty of food. I thought I had him, figured out where he was bedding at in scenarios, but I just could not figure this thing out. Now, I did end up harvesting this deer during rifle season. A doe ended up bringing him out in the field, and I punched him out, I think, around 185 yards with the 308. But I hunted that deer hard through archery, and like I said, that deer was aggravating. I love the challenge, but when it comes to patterning a deer, I had it on maps. I had it on an Excel sheet where this deer was here that day, he was there the next day, and he basically just made the big circular pattern, and then 2 or 3 days he ended up just moving on. So I think what he was doing is he was covering these spots there and just in a circular motion, and then for 2 or 3 days he'd move on to the next property. So what I was doing was I was trying to figure out how that deer was moving, and he was kind of more of in a rectangle fashion. So he had some sort of a pattern, but I just could never get caught up with that deer. And once that rut hits, they get locked down on those does, and it even becomes harder. But what I was starting to do was hunting the old sign. So I was trying to figure out where we were seeing this deer at on the cellular cameras. I was running a lot of the cutting link systems there, trying to target that deer, and I was slowly but surely trying to catch up to that deer. And I'm thinking I saw him maybe once during a hunt, but other than that, the only other time I'd seen him was on trail camera, and then the actual day that I ended up harvesting him. So, the biggest thing there is, if you do have a deer that is in a circular motion, or he's coming from one, on you guys, and then he's moving away, try to hunt that old sign, because if it's fresh sign, chances are what's going to end up happening is that deer has already been on you, and he may visit that day, but he may actually have already moved on. So basically what I'm getting at is, if it's old sign, hunt it, because chances are that deer is probably going to come back. I've seen this, in person. I've heard a lot of stories in regards to that kind of strategy. And, for a circular pattern deer, or, even if you want to classify as an unpatterned, unpatternable deer, there's always some sort of pattern. You just got to have enough surveillance out there to figure that deer out. So hopefully this helps you guys out. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you've got a circular pattern deer, try to hunt the old sign, and that's probably the best strategy I can get, besides having your normal water and your mock scrapes and run those cellular trail cameras. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.